What up? It is the Stan and Neil Show. For a Tuesday, we are live and direct on Twitch. Neil, tell the people what's coming up.
Oh man, listen, it's repetitive, Stan. I say it every time. Jam packed. We're going to go back into the NFL week that was. We know we have no longer have any unbeaten teams. 4-1 is the best anyone can do. An NFL quarterback name of note gets traded. What's that mean for an NFL backup quarterback name of note? We will dive into that. Also, you were Penn State, and what do we got coming up with LSU and Oregon? All sorts of stuff. The Stan and Neil Show. It starts right now.
Let's go with Stan and Neil Show. The Stan and Neil Show. And Neil Show.
All right, we're ready to go with another edition of the Stan and Neil Show. I believe this is episode number 9, Neil.
Number 9. She's a beauty, that number 9.
All right, let's remind the folks where they can get the show other than live right here on Twitch.
Yeah, you can. If you're on Twitch, then we want you to be a subscriber first before we tell you where else. We want you to want you to subscribe. You can be a rookie, an all-pro, or a Hall of Famer. There's levels to this, like there is anything in life. But we just want you on our team. We appreciate all those that are. Now, Twitch is not the only place, though. Stan will tell you that you can catch us.
Exactly. I got it out of order here. All right, so Twitch live every Tuesday and Friday. If you missed a live show, you can always catch us on YouTube, on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. But we appreciate you joining us live here on Twitch to get the show fresh and new right out of the gate. And you can join us on chat. You can comment on the show. You can ask questions. T-Money 1981 already in the mix. Glad to have you with us.
That's my brother, Stan. That's my brother-in-law, man.
All right. We got the family and friends program going here.
Yeah, the nephews, the Goofball brothers, are coming to stay with me and Stephanie this weekend. We got the pool heated. In fact, I'm out of town. She's prepping the house. Those of you that have watched us and say, hey, man, that doesn't look like Neil's garage.
Right.
Where are the CDs? I'm actually in the dressing room at the Blazers broadcast facility because tomorrow night the Blazers tip off in San Francisco against the Golden State Warriors exhibition game. And so Greg Fonseca, who Stan and I work for in LA, he had me come up and going to do the game tomorrow. So I flew up here today, and I was in Las Vegas yesterday. I want to give the memory of Dave Sherapan a shout out. He had a beautiful service, a celebration of his life. His wife did the coolest thing, Stan. I mean, the grief was overwhelming and still is, because he's got 3 young daughters and a beautiful wife. But she said, Dave was he was an odds maker out of Las Vegas. So she said, if you come wearing your favorite jersey and your favorite cap, because Dave always wore a jersey and a cap, and he must have had 1,000 caps and 1,000 jerseys. Wow, he was laid to rest in a Pirates hat and a Pirates jersey. He's a great human being. I can't say much more because I can feel the lump in my throat. But anyhow, I'm not in the garage. I'm in the dressing room. Don't got the dogs at my feet, but I'm ready to kick it with you.
All right. R.I.P. to Dave. Condolences to his family and friends. Neil, I am rocking the Saints polo this week to celebrate that first win. We're going to talk about that a little bit later in the show. Back here in Los Angeles after doing the pregame show and attending the game on Sunday in New Orleans. AWEYERS 22 in the chat. Love you guys. Been watching you guys from Oshkosh, Wisconsin for 20 years. We appreciate that. Frozen Wacky Bev, we're locked in. We appreciate you joining us here on Twitch as well. All right, let's get this show started here. Steve from Maine. My favorite archaic ESPN interview question: which one is Stan and which one is Neil?
He's Stan. I'm Neil.
There you go. Got that for you, Steve. All right, let's get started here. Monday Night Football. Woo! How about that game? Chiefs and Jaguars went right down to the final minute.
I mean, early, Stan, it looked like it was going to be all Chiefs. They were up 14-0. They beat the Jags. Last time the Jags beat the Chiefs was like the Millard Fillmore administration. Then it was a tie game. And then I've been waiting all day to say this, Stan.
Okay.
Devin Lloyd has 99 problems, but a pick ain't one.
Oh, there you go. That's fantastic. +1 for
I'm
Neil.
done. Thank you. Good night. No, what a game. What a game.
Yeah.
KC tied it up only to fall behind 24-21. So we got 8 minutes left. Mahomes engineers this 6-minute plus drive, 2 runs for 20 yards. He was 5 for 5 throwing it. Kareem Hunt scores, but there were still 105 seconds left. And the Chiefs gift the Jags. We talked about this on an earlier show when you idiot kicker kicked it out of bounds. You get it on the 40-yard line.
Yeah.
And that put and then Lawrence made a couple really good passes. And then he had the play. It's his 26th birthday, and he has this play, and they got no timeouts. He looks like a Keystone Cop back there, gets his foot stepped on, falls down. All I could think was Boomer doing the highlight going, Trevor Lawrence, rumbling, bubbling, stumbling.
Right.
And he made it into the end zone. Sheer panic, he said, find the end zone. Chiefs find a way to give this game back to the Jags, who were happy to grasp it and take it and make it theirs. 31-28, your final.
Yeah. A couple of things. That Devin Lloyd fumble return, 99 yards, longest one ever in the regular season in the NFL. You can't have one longer than that. I guess you can pick one up in the end zone and go further, but there's that. And then, I'm not quite a believer in the Jaguars yet. I thought that was a good result for them. I mean, obviously a team that they've had to dealt with them unsuccessfully 8 straight times, including the playoffs in the AFC, but I'm not quite ready to buy yet. They're a really good team, it looks like. And Liam Cohen looks like he's got them trending in the right direction, but it's still one of those, you got to prove it. But the Jags now 4-1, the Chiefs now 2-3. And both quarterbacks talked about the game after the game and what it meant. Let's listen into that, talk some more about it.
I mean, just panic, honestly, because I was trying to get up to get the ball out of my hands to the clock. I mean, we didn't have any timeouts. So I was really going to just stand up and launch it out of the back of the end zone. But then I had a little bit of a lane, so I took it and scored from there.
Did you second time trying to get up? Did that kind of met second plan?
I was just hoping when I got up at that point, because I needed a second to get up and just stay down because we didn't have timeouts. So, whatever I could do to just get up fast, up tripping again. So I was great. I'm sure it looks pretty funny on the tape. So, but yeah, I mean, crazy finish. It's a big one. Obviously, team. They've been for a long time. Hard to beat. They're situation. We controlled the game. They make plays. Even today, they won and get some points there, and we had to go win it. So it was cool for us to go take it and have to go win it at the end. Put together a good drive, and it's just another step for our team. I think showing up on a big stage does say something. It's a big game.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it sucks. You let a game slip away. Credit to them. They played hard. They played hard the entire game, and they got a lot of good football players, and they closed out there at the end, and so it still sucks whenever you get a lead like that and you're not able to hold it through the rest of the game. And I mean, I feel like we have the guys, and we've executed at certain points of the game and looked really good, and then we crush ourselves with penalties and mistakes and interceptions and fumbles or whatever that is. I mean, it's just we've kind of done that to ourselves all year long. It's kind of been one guy here or there, and in this league, it's so close that those change games, and so we got to be better. We've lost too many games already, and so we got to find a way to be better as a team and come together and play better throughout the rest of the season.
All right, so as we mentioned, the Chiefs 2-3 on the season so far. That Devin Lloyd return for a touchdown, that was really the backbreaker for Kansas City, and they haven't been able to put it together the way they have in the past, and win some of these close games. So that'll be a trend to watch for them as they go along. It doesn't get easier for them. They got the Lions coming into Kansas City next week, and Detroit's really, really playing well. They won 4 in a row. How do you feel about the Jags?
Well, they're 4-1.
Yeah,
They were 4-13 last year.
right. Good point.
So there's still some work. We need you got an A on last night's paper,
Yep.
but you've constantly been a C student. I need to see some more A work from you. I thought it was interesting because they've forgotten more football than I know. Joe and Troy Aikman on the broadcast, they said statement win. Okay, that you buy, but and then they said a defining game that can propel you to greatness. So I think that's it. They get an A. They're headed in the right direction, but they still have to stay on the road, stay between the lanes, and show us that they can win more games like this and not give away some games against teams that they clearly should beat if they should beat the Chiefs, or are the Chiefs not who we thought they were?
Right.
A 2-3 Chiefs team. You're looking at a history. If you dig up a bunch of numbers, like the Chiefs gained 400 and some yards and only gave up 300 and some yards, they were 28-0 the whole time that had happened in one score ball games. I think last year they were 11-0, and this year they're already 0-3. So there's something to be said about what's wrong with the Chiefs, while the Jags have taken advantage of whatever is wrong with the Chiefs, while also showing, hey, we're ready to flex a little bit more. We're not your daddy's Jaguars anymore. We're ready to play with the big boys.
Yep. Back home in Duval next week, taking on Seattle. That'll be a good game too. That'll be a fun game to watch. All right, big news earlier today. Joe Flacco traded. The Browns get a 5th-round pick for Flacco. The Bengals get Flacco and a 6th-round pick. So now Cincinnati, in desperate need of a quarterback. Jake Browning hasn't gotten it in the last few weeks. They've lost 3 in a row, outscored 113-37. Now, he doesn't play defense, but still, a lot of those 3 and outs are contributing to some of those other scores. But Cincinnati's a mess, so they turn to Joe Flacco. Now the problem is, as you've talked about, Neil, their offensive line. Flacco, 40 years old, not as mobile as maybe he once was, and maybe not even that mobile back then. But how do you see this working out if they don't fix the offensive line problems?
Well, it's interesting because we talked about Cleveland doesn't know how to handle a quarterback situation. They've had 4,000 starting quarterbacks over the last 20 years. And yet the Bengals go to the Browns and to trade for a quarterback, a guy who lost his starting job with Cleveland, where you had brought up, there's Russell Wilson and there's Jameis Winston of the Giants. Those are two guys, especially Winston. That's a guy that I would, if I was a Bengals fan, I would rather go after Jameis Winston than Joe Flacco at this point, career-wise, see what he's got. And the interesting, of course, side story is now in Cleveland, what's this do to elevate Shedeur Sanders? Does he become Dylan Gabriel's backup, or does Brian Sipe come in and back up Gabriel? What are they going to do in Cleveland? Because I think it'll give us a good indication of just how ready Cleveland thinks Shedeur Sanders is.
So Bailey Zappi's on the practice squad. He's the only veteran that they have there. But as you said, Dylan Gabriel's a starter now. Shedeur Sanders a backup. So now, do you believe that this is a reflection of how they feel about Dylan Gabriel? Because when you say, hey, okay, we got another rookie behind you, so we're getting rid of the veteran who we had, and it's your team now with Shedeur as the backup. Do you think that's the thinking there?
Well, we're going to find out because they're going to have to name, right, who's the 2 and 3. Isn't that part of the?
Well, today on the depth chart, on the Tuesday depth chart, Shedeur Sanders is the backup.
Excellent.
And Gabriel's the starter. So, but I mean, do you trade Flacco because you say, okay, we like enough of what we see from Gabriel to just say, okay, the keys are yours?
Well, I think Gabriel showed pretty good poise for a first-time starter in that game in London. They took the loss, but it was the Browns defense that gave up a late touchdown to the Vikings in that one. But from all reports, I'm not getting up that early to watch that game, but from all reports and I love Dylan Gabriel, but from all reports that I read about it, that he acquitted himself quite well for a guy making his first start. So I think Cleveland's saying, yeah, we drafted him in the 3rd round, and right now he's the quarterback of our future. And we hopefully got a pretty good one behind him in Shedeur Sanders, who a lot of people had pegged as a first rounder before he fell in that draft. And I have a question for you. It's time to play a little trivia with Stan.
All right, let's go.
Joe Flacco, this will be his 8th NFL team.
Really?
8th.
Wow. I didn't realize that.
How many of the 8 can you name? Obviously, one of them being Cincinnati.
I got Baltimore. I got Cincinnati. Now Cleveland, the Colts.
Yep.
That's 4. Where else did Flacco go? I didn't realize.
Oh, wait, it's 7. One of them was
7.
Well, 2 of them are twice. I'm sorry, 7. Okay, you got 4 of them.
All right. So where else was Flacco? I don't remember, and we're wasting time.
Broncos. He was with the
Broncos.
Broncos. Then he was with the Jets.
Oh yeah, the Jets. I remember that.
And then he was with the Eagles.
The Eagles. Yeah. Okay.
And he's been with the Browns and the
Ravens.
And the Ravens twice. No,
yeah.
the Browns and the Jets twice.
Browns and the Jets twice. Okay.
I should probably know the answer to my own trivia question before I throw it out to you like that.
But you know, sometimes
Sloppy.
those trade values in the NFL are really kind of weird, because this guy's your starting quarterback. Okay,
Yeah.
I know he's 40 years old, but he's your starting quarterback, and you almost gave him away for free because you got a 5th rounder, but you gave them a 6th rounder and Flacco. So
yeah,
it's always interesting the value in trades.
Everybody always hopes they've got the next Tom Brady and a 6th round pick.
Yeah, and we'll see if this means Shedeur Sanders actually sees the field. Because if Gabriel struggles, what do you do? Do you how long a leash do you give him now, knowing you have Sanders behind? And you know, so we'll see. We'll see. The situation got a little bit more interesting now.
Yeah.
With Flacco gone. All right, Patriots over the Bills. Can't say I saw that one coming. You know, we were talking last week about the culture change with Mike Vrabel and everything. I'm like, no, not yet.
Yeah.
But
we were like, no, that's it. Why are we talking about that one? We'll talk about the Broncos and the Eagles. We got some opinion on that, but there's no way the Bills are losing to the Patriots.
And the Patriots, let me tell you, that's a professional football team. Mike Vrabel has them playing really, really well. And Drake May, we may be watching the start of something here. Already number 5 in the NFL in passing yards. He's got a thing with Stephon Diggs that's working really, really well. Diggs with a couple of 100-yard games back-to-back now. Bills with 3 turnovers. Josh Allen had 2 of them, and there wasn't enough Josh Allen magic for them to overcome it. So what do you think? Are you buying on the Patriots now?
Well, listen, that's a weak conference. Buffalo beat who'd they beat? They beat 3 teams that I think had 2 wins between them. And I'm sorry, your Saints were one of them.
Yeah, you don't talk about my Saints like that. But
the Saints, Dolphins, the Jets, and the Ravens, who were normally good, but not this season. Drake, what I was thinking as I watched this was Drake May looks like Josh Allen. And Stephon Diggs looks like Stephon Diggs when he was a Buffalo Bill.
Good point.
He had 10 catches in that game, and May led his first career game-winning drive led to that 52-yard field goal that won it for the Patriots. So I think the thing with the Patriots, Stan, is the bar is so high because of how great they were. They're never going to be that great again. You wouldn't think. I mean, that was they captured magic with Brady and Belichick and just some of what they had going on. So so you've got to have the bar in a space that you can honestly think that the Patriots can jump over. It looks like they're headed in the right direction. Everybody loves Vrabel, as a coach. He had good reports out of Tennessee when he was there, and he's a former Patriot. And he just kind of looks like a dude. He's got no neck, the whole deal. He's just he's got like a Barney Rubble head, and it's just like it's like, okay, I'd run through a wall for that guy, I think, and then have a beer with him afterwards. So I think the Patriots, I think, kind of like we just said with whoever we were talking about just before, the Jags are headed in the right direction. The Patriots have the resume, they have the tape the reels of tape of how well they've been in the past. The Patriots are to be reckoned with after beating the Bills like that. Or maybe the Bills, like the Chiefs, aren't as good as we thought they were.
Yeah. My theory on NFL teams is always you have to start with two things. And, it's not a mind bender, head coach and quarterback. And it looks like New England right now has those two things in Mike Vrabel and Drake May. And, man, I like May a lot. We're going to see now. They head to the Superdome, take on the Saints on Sunday. So I'm going to get to see them up close and personal next week. But right now, they really look like the real deal. Ramondre Stevenson is their banger. He had a couple of touchdowns, didn't run for a lot of yards, had a couple of touchdowns. But Travion Henderson looks like he's going to be a really, really good NFL back. So they got a lot of things going on. The Bills go to Atlanta on Monday night as they try to get it back together again. How about Broncos and Eagles? Denver down 17-3 after 3 and come back and win the game.
Against an Eagles team that won 12 in a row at home. You talk about, you just said it. You look at two things, a coach and a quarterback.
Yep.
Well, you got Sean Payton, so they got the coach. And do they have the quarterback in Bo Nix? You remember, he's a grown man. He's like 26 years old in his second year because he played so long in college with the extra COVID year in a row. And, he's like a roller coaster. He's up, he's down, he's up, he's down. I mean, he was down for 3 quarters, and then he went Super Bowl in the fourth quarter. He was 9 of 10, 127 yards, not 1, not 2, but 3 scoring drives in that fourth quarter. And the Eagles offense, I mean, they just went silent night midway through the third quarter and just punted the football and gave it all back to Denver. So we had talked about last week or the last show. We thought that Denver could shock Philadelphia, and they did.
Yeah, and, I thought we were wrong when it was 17-3. I was like, okay, we blew that one. But then, like you said, that fourth quarter, Bo Nix, fantastic. And Sean Payton, he drove the bus down Broad Street. They took a detour, and he drove the bus down Broad Street after the Broncos won in Philadelphia, just to kind of, let the whole city know we're here and we're leaving with a W.
I like that.
He's got him believing in Denver. I was really bullish on them at the start of the year, but Philly, it's a good thing, Neil, that the fan base there doesn't overreact and they're very stable.
Yeah. And same. I mean, we're getting ahead of ourselves, but same with the broadcast. Do you see the analysts for the Phillies post-game show got into a huge screaming match at each other after game 2?
Oh no, I didn't see that.
Of the baseball playoffs, yeah. So they've got it in line there.
So
I love fandom like that though, where as long as it doesn't go like we talked about the Ryder Cup, that went over the edge. Throwing stuff and throwing punches and all that, that's over the edge. But loving your team like you love the Saints, like I love the Blazers.
Yeah.
That's real. That's what sports is about, man. Where you can really, you live and die figuratively with your team, and but you have some perspective.
Yeah, but the questions about the offense are not going to die down this week. After that show in the second half, and so AJ Brown hasn't been happy. There are reports, I don't know how true they are, that Devontae Smith is quietly unhappy with the offense's production as well. So, the Eagles they have to figure it out. They have to figure it out because I don't think lineup changes are in the works. I don't think they're going to turn to anybody but Jalen Hurts. I don't think, there are people offering up Twitter trades for AJ Brown. I don't think the Eagles are going to bite on any of those. So I think they just gotta figure it out. And I don't know what it's going to take for them to get going. I mean, we saw it against the Rams in that second half. They really played well. So they found their stride, but now it's back to kind of struggling to get. Denver's defense is really good. You have to put that in as a disclaimer, but something to watch in Philly as the season goes on. I mean, will this offense cause more locker room problems?
Well, didn't the Patriots beat the Rams in a Super Bowl like 6-3? I
think it was 13-3. Maybe.
Yeah, 13-3.
Yeah.
So I mean, you can win without scoring a ton of points. But the Eagles have just looked, lethargic offensively, more so than good defenses shutting them down. And so that's cause for concern. But the bottom line is they're 4-1. They're tied for the best record in the NFL.
Exactly. Short week. They go to the Giants on Thursday. The Broncos go to London to face the Jets. So I wonder if they took the detour down Broad Street and then just took off for London. I can't imagine they went back to Denver and then over to London. So
I've been watching this. Have you seen this show Mobland that's based in London?
No. What's it on? Netflix?
It's on Paramount.
On Paramount. Okay. No, I haven't seen that.
I've been on the plane so much. I've had to watch show, and they got 3 episodes on Delta. Crazy show. I think you'd dig it.
Mobland. Okay. I'm going to check that out. Good programming note.
There you go.
Junior 7000 in the chat says they need to pass the ball more on the Eagles team. Junior, first time chatter. We appreciate you being here. Auntie Al, Eagles, Phillies, bad week. LOL. We appreciate you joining us in the chat. Auntie Al also says, surprised the Vikings aren't playing in London this week. LOL. NFL, man, they're sending everybody to London.
Yeah. Vikings did 2 games in a row, I think.
Yeah. How about Colts and Raiders? Indy won 40-6, their biggest margin of victory in 12 years. And the Colts, man, they're for real. Jonathan Taylor, he's got to be in the Offensive Player of the Year conversation at this point.
Yeah, I mean, they 6 consecutive touchdown drives in that game. Now, 2 came courtesy of a blocked punt and a pick. Converted 8 of 9 third down chances. It never turned the ball over, punted once. Effective and efficient. Jonathan Taylor and Indiana Jones, man, Linda's guy. I mean, the Colts have now won 3 games by 20 or more points this season. 2022, 2023, and 2024, they won 0 games by 20 or more points.
Wow.
So they have found something with Steichen, and he's got them believing in themselves, and they are for real. I mean, they're a peg above Jacksonville, I think.
Yeah.
Just a bit like, hey, you got to keep showing it, because your past body of work has not been anything that you're going to frame. So we need to see consistency, but you are on our map. You are on our map.
They don't turn the ball over. And Taylor, man, if he gets loose, it's a touchdown. That dude is fast and he's durable and he breaks tackles. I mean, he's a really, really good player. I really enjoy watching him. It's been a lot of fun. So
Raiders are horrible, Stan.
Raiders are in big trouble. I mean, Geno Smith is just, that hasn't worked out.
Oh, and my guy Chip Kelly's their offensive coordinator, and they're not putting any points on the board.
No, and then all of a sudden, Pete Carroll is starting to look old now.
Yeah.
He was energetic when the season started,
yeah.
And now, okay, well maybe he's too old. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not my thoughts, just what the thinking is out there due to the Raiders' struggle. So we'll see if they can turn it around, but it doesn't look good. Like something about this offense doesn't fit with what Geno Smith is doing. Genty he's been okay.
Yeah.
Have been great, and Brock Bowers has been banged up. That's been a big part of their progress. He was such a big part of their offense last year, and he's been struggling with that knee. So, not looking good for the Raiders.
No.
Bucks and Seahawks. Baker Mayfield and company do it again with a little help from Levante David.
I'm telling you. So, my boy Sweaty. I've talked about Sweaty.
Oh yeah, what's up, Sweaty?
Yeah, so Sweaty, he and his wife Molly, top real estate agent in Eastern Washington. They go to the Saturday, they go M's Tigers.
Okay.
And then Sunday they go Seahawks, Bucks, and then that night go M's Tigers again. Sweaty's living right, man.
Yeah.
We'll have more on baseball, but back to the football, the Bucks, it's their 4th come from behind win. Peter Schrager, who's I think really a knowledgeable NFL guy. I love listening to him. He used to be on the NFL channel, and now he's at ESPN. And I used to listen to him on the radio quite a bit. I didn't hear him because I was in a library and they didn't have the sound up. And but it had Peter Schrager, Baker Mayfield MVP for the NFC, and I'm like, wow, who would you put in front of him right now? And I started looking. I'm going, that's a good argument to have.
Dak Prescott's got some very, very impressive numbers. Cowboys obviously don't have the team record that Tampa Bay has, but Dak Prescott's been fantastic so far too. But I might give the edge to Mayfield because they're winning, and they keep squeaking by. They've won by 3, 1, 2, and 3. They're the first team in NFL history with 4 wins in their first 5 games by 3 points or fewer. And so now there's 2 schools of thought on that. One is, okay, this is not sustainable. Eventually, it's going to bite you. Okay, but the other school of thought is they keep finding a way, and so when they find themselves in these situations, as the season goes on, they're totally comfortable and like, hey, we got to go win it on the last possession. We got the guy to do it. We've done it before. Let's go do it again. Which one are you buying?
I think I'm a believer in the Bucs.
Yeah.
I've got them pegged steps ahead of the Jags and the Colts as we're talking about teams who are legit 4-1 teams. You gave a stat. I got one too. The Bucs become the first team ever with 4 wins in the first 5 games in which they were tied or were trailing in the final minute of regulation.
Wow.
And I mean, listen, Seattle kind of gifted them that final possession. I mean, the deflection, Sam Darnold threw it, and it got, I think it was David Tip. That dude is he's everywhere. He's so good. But listen, the Buccaneers are getting it done. Bowles has got the defense, and Baker Mayfield is making believers out of everybody in that offensive huddle.
I mean, he was 29 of 33. That's 88% for 379.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and I tell you what, Emeka Egbuka, just pencil it in right now, offensive rookie of the year. I mean,
absolutely.
That guy is the most NFL ready receiver I've seen in a minute. I mean, he just looks the part, plays the part, delivers the results, and for Mayfield to trust him the way that he does, you got Mike Evans and Godwin on that team as well, but you see him looking for Egbuka. You know what I mean? Because he's been so productive so early on. They got a gem there, man. And as a guy who roots for a team in the NFC South, I hate to see it, but as a football fan, it's fun to watch.
Yeah,
he's a really, really good player.
And they did that without Mike Evans. He didn't play, and they did it without Bucky Irving. He was out too with an injury.
Yep. Exactly. Let's see here. Pete Carroll isn't working out. I'll tell you, yeah, not. ASAP Justin says, great dub for them this week against the Chargers. So who we got next? Lions and Bengals?
Lions and Bengals, man. Jared Goff. I don't know what passer rating is, but I know that 153 passer rating.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Yeah. I think 158.2 is perfect. So 153, pretty good.
Yeah. That's really good. You got Goff, you got Montgomery. He's a local boy at Cincinnati, ran for a score, threw for a score. You got Gibbs found the end zone. You got St. Brown. He had a full stat sheet per usual. They got the tight end, Laporta, involved.
Matt Laporta, yeah.
Yeah, they were up 28-3 before the Bengals even woke up. That game wasn't nearly as close as the final score. I said I had the Lions and Bills in the Super Bowl with the Bills winning. I still have the Lions and Bills, but I'm leaning towards the Lions now.
Yeah, 4 in a row for Detroit. Goff, 19 of 23 for 258. That's 11.2 yards per attempt. Yards per attempt, one of the stats that's really in vogue, people like looking at for quarterbacks. That's a first down every time he dropped back.
Yeah.
11 yards every time he threw it. 3 touchdowns, no picks. Now, they go to Kansas City next week to take on a Chiefs team that is in desperate need of a win. And, man, that is going to be such a fun game to watch, I believe, because Kansas City, they don't – Mahomes said it earlier, they don't have much of a margin for error based on who they are and their expectations of themselves. So you got to figure they're going to put together their best game plan to try to deal with Detroit. and we'll find out if Detroit is ready to beat a team like Kansas City when they're really, really motivated on the road. I wouldn't bet against them because I like what they've done. Everybody questioned about the coordinators. Are they going to be the same without Aaron Glenn and Ben Johnson? But as it turned out, they're doing just fine. Had that opening stumble week 1 against the Packers, but it's been smooth sailing since then.
The Dan Campbell effect is a real thing. I think these guys are really, really. I think there's some Vrabel, Dan Campbell. I think those are similar guys that are no nonsense, and guys really want to line up behind them and play for them.
Yeah, you talk about running through the wall. Those two guys would run through the wall with you.
Yeah,
yeah. You don't need to run through the wall for them. They will run through the wall and tell you to follow them through the wall.
Absolutely. Follow me to freedom.
All right. Then there's this situation in Arizona. Okay. The Cardinals absolutely fell apart against the Titans. Absolutely fell apart. I mean, a game that, like, no disrespect to the Titans, but there's no way they should lose that game. Okay. But they did. They had a couple of crazy plays, couple of bounces, didn't go their way. But Emery Mercado does it again. We saw the guy from the Colts do it. Was it last week or 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Going in for a touchdown, and he casually flips the ball before you cross the goal line. I don't understand that. You've done all the hard work to get to the 1 yard line, and then you blow it at the 1 yard line. Why? What? Like, it doesn't look cool to flip the ball like that. It looks dumb. Okay, it hurts your team. Why would you ever do that? Like, what do you think it's just a thing that you're trying to be cool?
I just think I think he thought he crossed the goal line for whatever reason. I'm sure the goal line was right in front of him, and he right there. I've made it, but your foot is across the goal line, but your body isn't yet. And I mean, that was a game changer. That wiped those points off the board, and Titans go the other way and score. That was a 14-point swing. And it was so nonchalant. So there was nothing showboaty about it. Like, look at me. At least it didn't look, and we can't be in the kid's head, but it just looked to me like, he lost track of where the ball was in relation to where part of his body was. Yep. Just because his right or left foot had crossed the goal line doesn't mean that he was all in it.
Okay, and then that brings us to the aftermath of what happened, where the head coach, Jonathan Gannon, goes to talk to him on the sideline. So here's a look at that. So it appears that he hit him. I mean, he gives him a piece of, and then it looked like he hit him. It looked like he hit him to you?
Well, I hadn't seen this video. I just read about the story. Oh, right there.
Yeah.
But that was all more like get your head in the game, not as opposed to like, a 1-2 punch.
Right. So Gannon came back and he apologized for his reaction to it. And so then that got, both sides of the argument going. On the one hand, like, yeah, if you're the head coach and you keep losing close games like Arizona has, okay, you probably want to hit him. I mean, if I was the head coach, I would want to hit him, but you can't hit him. Okay, even if it's, hey, get your head in the game, you can't do. I mean, it's a grown man, and I understand it's an emotional time, but you can't be a coach and preach, don't let your emotions get the best of you, and then you let your emotions get the best of you on the sideline with one of your players. I don't think it was egregious, but it's unfortunate that Gannon put himself in a position where he felt like he had to come out and apologize, because now it's like it adds even more to the mess. Because Mercado stood in front of his locker, took every question. I mean, he got 4 or 5 questions about it, and he said, look, I'm going to I'm going to keep saying the same thing. It can't happen. I can't do that. I got to be better. So, kudos to him for standing up and accepting responsibility for it. And I mean, he kind of had to. Nobody else did it, but he at least faced the music. But it was worsened by the coach's reaction. So then there's the Kyler Murray thing. A lot of questions. Is Kyler Murray the leader that they need? Nobody's questioning his talent, but is he the leader that Arizona needs to take the next step from just, squeaking into the playoffs to making a deep run, maybe getting to a Super Bowl? Where do you come down on Kyler Murray?
First, let me talk about the coach.
Okay. All right.
One thing I noticed there, so you saw no reaction from the player or the players surrounding him. So that's why I don't think it was a punch. I think it was like he slapped him in the gut, like, come on, because I think 70 or the dude behind him with the beard right there. I think there would have been more reaction. I think the assistant coach, smart, he knows his. So I'm sure that the coach has now seen this video and knows people are talking about it. So he needed to address it.
Yeah.
And he did address it. And he's correct. You've got to be better to be when you're the head coach. You can't have that kind of reaction and expect players they're not running through the wall for him right now.
Right.
I remember, Stan, I was in seventh grade football, played for the Lions, junior national football in Spokane.
Wait. Now I know some of these. Tell everybody what position you played.
I was offensive guard and nose guard. I was a little guy with a lot of nose guard.
Nose guard.
I had a lot of piss and vinegar in me when I was little.
Okay. All right.
And so one time, I didn't quit on the play, but it was like we scored a touchdown. Like this was a practice. Talking about practice. I'm talking about a game.
Not the game.
A practice.
We talk about practice.
So I'm sitting there and I'd probably pancake somebody or something. But anyhow, I was watching the guy run down the field. Next thing I know, this coach, Bruce Johnson was his name. He actually went to Oregon. Okay. This is a grown man. I'm a seventh grader.
Okay. All right.
He picks me up above his head and body slams me.
What?
And tells me to play till the end of the whistle. And
now, were your parents there?
No, it was practice.
Okay,
not talking about a game.
Right. Okay, all right.
Yeah, but it was and so I remember I got home and I told my older brother Joe, and I said, yeah, man, I survived it fine. I was more embarrassed than pissed because I was only I disappointed the coach.
Yeah.
So I was more down on myself. I didn't really. Now as I got older, I'm like, wow, that was really effed up, man. Like you can't do that now. You can't even yell at me now.
Right.
But back then, the whole Bobby Knight thing was a little more appreciated and not understood for what it was. And I remember my brother Joe was going to go kick his ass, and then it was 100 years later.
Wait, now how old was Joe?
Joe will be 70. And I'm 63. So Joe was 7 years older. So he was, he was right there, 20 years old, Joe could have taken him. Joe was
all right. Okay.
Joe went to Wazoo and he passed one class, beginning boxing. He got an A. And so years later, I got a message. Somebody said, hey, there's this old coach trying to reach out to you from back in your football days. And it wasn't Bruce Johnson, but it was the head coach of our little team back then. Yeah. And we had a great reunion over the phone. Skip Buchanan was his name. And I brought that up and he goes, man, I still feel bad about that. I remember it like it happened yesterday. It should have never happened. And I want to apologize to you. And I'm like, hey man, that was 50 years ago. Don't worry about it, coach.
So it's going to be interesting to see how the Cardinals react as a team. So we're getting breaking news here. Yeah. Our producer Jeff just told us that Gannon has been fined $100 NFL Insider. So the league didn't like the look of it either.
No, and the league is all about looks.
Absolutely.
Hey, speaking of looks, we didn't look at the Ravens. I mean, are they never more?
Yeah. Yeah. Can I quote you on that? Nevermore. Yeah, it's looking bad. I mean, I don't know what the prognosis is for Lamar Jackson, but they could not afford to not have him the way their defense is. Like, what? I know they've had a lot of injuries. Okay, they've had a lot of injuries, but what happened to their defense?
Yeah.
I mean, I think I saw somebody said that, I think it was Maurice Jones-Drew said their 6 or 7 highest paid players all weren't in the game on Sunday, all didn't play. And it's like $200 million or whatever wasn't on the field for them. So, some of it is that. But, it's always, next man up in the NFL. And it looked like the Ravens may have been positioned to be able to deal with the next man up. But I saw a quote from a coach, and I said I was going to remember who said it, but I don't. Maybe somebody in the chat will remember it. But he said, depth is great until you have to use it. And so that's the situation that the Ravens are in right now, where they're having to use this depth, and they're finding out that the second line guys aren't as good as their starters. And so now, what are they?
1-4.
1-4.
Yeah.
They're talented enough where if they get everybody back, you can't count them out, because there's still 12 games left.
Well, and somebody's got to win that division, and it's not going to be Cleveland or Cincinnati, I don't think.
No, Pittsburgh's kind of cruising right along here, under the radar. Nobody's really talking about the Steelers, which is
Tomlin likes it.
Yeah, which is weird for a team with Aaron Rodgers, and people are talking about him. But with Aaron Rodgers, that's probably a good thing.
Yeah.
Because the last couple of years, he's making headlines for all the wrong reasons. But yeah, I'm still not ready to say, because look, if Baltimore, let's say they sneak in with a wild card, okay, nobody wants to play them if they're healthy, and they're a wild card because of the struggles early this season. Nobody wants to play them, even then. So not quite done yet, but they gotta figure it out. They gotta figure it out.
Hey, I want to talk baseball, Stan. Can we talk baseball?
Let's go.
Okay, so I'm really into watching the playoff baseball, and I lost my cable. I lost my Spectrum, so I didn't get any Dodgers during the regular season. Couldn't see your guy up there with holding the bat and looking cool, Jerry. So he's got the bat. Jerry Harrison, he's the coolest dude on television. Yeah. So the Dodgers are up 2-0 after win Saturday. Now, Saturday was the Phils game. I mean, they had a 2-run lead. They nicked Ohtani for a couple runs. Ohtani has 4 strikeouts. Mookie's 0 for 5, and Teoscar Hernandez is 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts. So that's 9-12. That's 0 for 12 with 7 strikeouts. And then Teoscar Hernandez gets a pitch, boom, hits a 3-run homer out of the park. Dodgers lit the air out of the park, and they win that one. They win a game the Phils should have gotten 3-2. And then Monday it was all Dodgers until the bottom of the 9th. Blake Snell had 6 scoreless. It was so good. Bottom of the 9th, Castellanos with a double, 2-run double. It's 4-3. They're going crazy in Philadelphia. They're just going crazy. They end up with runners on the corners. It's Trey Turner, your NL batting champion, former Dodger, against Sasaki, who's now the new closer for the Dodgers. Hits a routine grounder to Edman at second, who then all of a sudden goes Steve Sachs on the throw. Sorry, Steve. And Freddie Freeman makes a Gold Glove dig, keeps his toe on the bag. Otherwise, the game would have at least been tied. Run would have scored. And these are best of 5. These aren't a best of 7. So the Dodgers, they're at home next, and the Phillies are in big trouble in that one.
All right, college football.
Yeah, on Saturday, Stan, I was watching the Dodger game.
Yep.
And then I looked on my phone at the Penn State score. You said college football.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, that's got to be a mistake. And
It
remember
was
how you
by
said
Penn State.
Remember how you said we need to have a segment? I don't bet, but if I did.
Yeah.
So I looked before that game kicked off at the Rose Bowl. Penn State was a 24-point favorite. And I said, oh, my God, I wish they had gambling in California because Penn State it's going to be 60-0 this game.
Really?
And
so you thought Penn State was going to beat UCLA that bad?
Oh, I thought they might cancel the program at UCLA after Saturday's whooping.
I would love to know. I would love to know of anybody who actually bet on UCLA in that game, what their rationale was other than, hey, it's too many points. Maybe Penn State's a little spent after the Oregon game. But you would think the way things have been going at UCLA that Penn State's backups, if he rested his main guys after all the emotion of the Oregon game, that they could still beat UCLA. But credit to UCLA, getting it together. Neuheisel's son, the younger Neuheisel, put the game plan together, and Nico Iamaleava finally had some success in his return home here to Southern California. So yeah, big win for the Bruins. But I tell you what, James Franklin, man, what do you do there if you're Penn State? What do you do?
Well, he's got a buyout of $56 million. First of all, whatever athletic director gave him that contract, he needs to be fired.
But I mean, look, they made the playoff. They won a playoff game last year. But I mean, everybody can't win the national championship, right?
No.
So when is good enough to stay? Even if you don't win it all. I mean, I know Penn State's a program that hey, we need to compete for national championships, okay? But you're in the Big Ten, okay? Anybody in the Big Ten or the SEC now, I believe you have to have realistic expectations, more realistic expectations than you needed in the past. Okay, you're not going undefeated in those conferences anymore. I don't believe. I saw Lane Kiffin talking about this week that like the dynasties, the dynasties are over now. So if you got a James Franklin, you win 10 games, you win 11 games, okay, and you're in the mix some years. Maybe you fall a little short. I mean, why is that unacceptable?
Well, you read Arkansas. We're firing our coach. We want to find a coach who can win a national championship. I mean, everybody lays that as the bar. You can't listen. You can't lose to UCLA if you're Penn State. You can not win the national championship, but you can't lose to UCLA if you're Penn State. And you were talking about the betting stand. I read this. Hard Rock, one better bet $250,000 on Penn State just to win the game, and they were going to win $7,500. Okay, 90% of the money wagered on the odds to win a game straight up was Penn State. Betting that Penn State will win the game, no points involved, no brainer. And the guy bet $250,000 to win $7,500 and loses.
And to win $7,500.
And he bet $250,000 to win $7,500, and he lost.
Wow. I want to know. We got to find somebody who bet on UCLA to win that game and what they were thinking, how they justified it. Because look, 24 is a lot of points, but I hear you. I think you guys might have broke them. I think Oregon might have broken them.
Well, hopefully we'll say the same thing about Indiana. Now, listen, I got to go at the top of the hour, but I bet you got a LeBron James story to tell us.
Yeah, so LeBron James came with a big decision, and he hyped it up, and everybody on social media is like, "Oh, is this going to be his retirement announcement?" Because everybody on social media was thinking, "Okay, maybe this is it, and maybe not." He's not retiring now, but he's going to announce that he's retiring after the season. So there was a run on Laker tickets, especially his final home game. Those tickets went up to, I think it was like $450 was the nosebleed get-in price because people thought it was going to be an announcement. And Neil, You know what it turned out to be? Bartender, let me get a Hennessy.
I mean, I just watched it before we went on the air. I hadn't heard anything about it. In fact, Jeff or you had said, "Hey, the LeBron story's got to be in," and I'm like, "What happened with LeBron?" And I asked somebody here, and they said, "Oh, he did a recreation of the decision." And then I watched it. It was very funny.
Yeah, it really was. They did a good job with it.
Yeah.
I wonder how much the other guy got paid, and how come we didn't get that gig?
Yeah. I bet Jim Gray's like going, "Hey, I was ready to reprise my role." When you see Jim at Bel Air, you got to say, "Hey, how come they didn't call you to reprise your role?"
So first of all, are you a cognac guy?
No.
No.
I don't know. You know what? I can't say I'm not. I don't know that I've ever tried it.
So if I serve one up right now, you'd knock it back. You just wouldn't know what the experience would be like before you got it.
Yeah. Listen, I'm not going to turn it down. You know what I just got? I just got a wire that Luka Doncic is now endorsing Pall Mall cigarettes and Reservoir Dog beer.
No, that's not true.
Which is an actual there's an actual brewery in Slovenia named Reservoir Dog.
No, is that true?
I looked it up. Yeah.
Pall Mall cigarettes?
No,
you made that part up.
I made that up, but there is
right.
an actual Reservoir Dog brewery.
Okay, all right, okay, all right. No, I mean, look, Hennessy, I like Hennessy. Hennessy, very popular cognac, and I think, look, really smart marketing move for LeBron, because, he can go to Hennessy and say, "Hey, look, all I have to do is say I'm making a decision, and this thing's going to blow up." So great.
Oh, yeah.
Great social media marketing move for LeBron and for Hennessy. I mean, they got their money's worth. I don't know how much that deal was worth, but they got their money's worth out of it already.
Yeah, and LeBron's never going to have to buy another bottle of Hennessy. Not that would matter with his bankroll, but
I know I thought it was
he's
funny,
a big
wine drinker. I know he's a big wine drinker, but I guess he likes the cognac too.
Yeah, hey. Bartender. Last call.
All right. Hey, look, I know you got to get out of here, and so do I. A lot of fun.
Good hour.
Hey, yeah. Thanks to those of you who joined us live here on Twitch. Thanks to those of you who are watching on YouTube. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We really appreciate it. And we will be back here Friday with another edition of the Stan and Neil Show. We're out.